Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 1 hour. Iran picks Khamenei's son Mojtaba to succeed as supreme leader. Leadership of Iranian armed forces pledge allegiance. Oil prices surge over 25% on supply fears as US-Israeli war with Iran enters 10th day. Trump says small price to pay for defeating Iran. Asian markets fall sharply in early trade. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address post-budget webinar 2026-27 on Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas, fulfilling aspirations of people. Second phase of budget session begins with External Affairs Minister expected to make a statement on West Asia. And India's script history at the T20 World Cup final. Defeat New Zealand by 96 runs for the third title. Prime Minister says their remarkable triumph reflects exceptional skills, determination and teamwork. Let's get to updates from West Asia first. Mojtaba Khamenei has been appointed as the new supreme leader of Iran 9 days after his father, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed in US-Israeli strikes amid the escalating West Asia war. The decision was announced by the 88-member Assembly of Experts, which said that it acted swiftly despite what it called aggression by the United States and Israel. The 56-year-old new supreme leader is widely seen as a hardliner close to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and is expected to continue his father's policies amid intensifying regional conflict. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump had previously warned that any successor without American approval will not last long. Israel had also previously said that any new successor to Ayatollah would be targeted. Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of late Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has been appointed to succeed his father as the new head of the Islamic Republic. Let's try to find more about him. Born on 8th of September 1969 in the holy city of Mashhad in eastern Iran, Mojtaba Khamenei is one of the 6 children of the late Supreme Leader. He is also the former, let us get you more on this. He is the only child of the former Supreme Leader to hold a public position despite having no official post. He is regarded as close to conservatives, notably because of his ties with the Revolutionary Guards, the ideological arm of the Islamic Republic's military. The US Treasury Department imposed sanctions on Mojtaba Khamenei in 2019 during President Trump's first term. Opponents have notably accused him of playing a role in the violent crackdown that followed the re-election of ultra-conservative President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad in 2009, which triggered a vast protest movement. On the religious front, Mojtaba Khamenei studied theology in the holy city of Qom in south of Tehran, where he also taught. He attained the rank of Hujjat al-Islam, a title given to mid-ranking clerics below that of Ayatollah held by his father and by revolutionary leader Ruhollah Khamenei. The Assembly of Experts has 88 members who are elected every 8 years. US President Donald Trump on Sunday downplayed the war-driven surge in global oil prices, calling it a temporary inconvenience amid the ongoing US-led military campaign against Iran. In a Truth Social post, Trump stated that short-term oil price increases will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is over, and described them as a very small price to pay for US and world safety and peace, he added. Only fools would think differently, he said. The comments come as escalating US and escalating strikes on Iran disrupt key shipping routes like the Strait of Hormuz, fueling market volatility. Meanwhile, Iran has launched its first missile towards Israel on Monday, following the appointment of Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei as the new supreme leader. The missiles, marked with the slogan, "At your command, Saeed Mojtaba," were fired towards Israel. Israel's military also said that 2 of its soldiers had been killed fighting in southern Lebanon, marking the first Israeli troops to have died since fighting flared with Hezbollah. Multiple explosions were heard in Qatar's capital Doha as Gulf nations reported new attacks, with Iran pressing its retaliatory strikes across the region. Meanwhile, Kuwait's defense ministry said that its air defenses were working to intercept a new missile and drone attack on Monday. Now, this comes after Kuwait was targeted by 7 missiles and 5 drones on Sunday. Qatar has condemned an Iranian attack on a residential facility in Al-Kharj in Saudi Arabia, which killed 2 civilians and injured several others. Doha described the strike as a flagrant violation of international law and a dangerous escalation threatening regional security. Qatar rejected Iran's justifications for targeting countries in the region and urged respect for international law and principles of good neighborliness. It also expressed full solidarity with Saudi Arabia and extended condolences to the victims' families. An extraordinary ministerial meeting of the Arab League Council in Riyadh condemned the recent Iranian attacks on several Arab countries amid the ongoing West Asian war involving US, Israel and Iran. The participants of the meeting denounced the targeting of civilians, vital facilities and diplomatic missions, and discussed ways to strengthen joint Arab action to enhance regional security and stability. The Indian embassy in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, expressed relief that no Indian national lost their life in a military projectile incident that struck a residential site in Al-Kharj province on Sunday. The embassy said, and I quote, "It is a matter of relief that there has been no Indian fatality in the unfortunate incident at Al-Kharj yesterday evening. The embassy has been in touch with the concerned Saudi authorities regarding this issue." Councillor Y. Sabir visited Al-Kharj last night and met the injured Indian national involved in this unfortunate incident. He is currently receiving treatment at a government hospital in Al-Kharj. The United States military announced that a service member had died on Sunday after being wounded in Saudi Arabia by an Iranian attack. Now, this marks the 7th American combat death since the war in West Asia began. Meanwhile, the U.S. State Department has said that it has ordered non-emergency U.S. government employees and U.S. government employee family members to leave Saudi Arabia due to safety risks. Meanwhile, global oil prices have rocketed past $110 per barrel on Monday, marking the sharpest single-day surge exceeding 25% since 2022. The spike is fueled by the intensifying of US-Israel war against Iran, which has completely halted maritime traffic through the Strait of Hormuz and triggered production cuts by major producers, including Iraq and Kuwait. Brent crude rose more than 15% to trade between $107 and $108, while U.S. benchmark West Texas Intermediate climbed to comparable levels above $107. Markets are gripped by fears of sustained supply disruptions that could remove millions of barrels per day from global availability, with analysts warning of further volatility if the conflict escalates. Oil markets have seen dramatic swings this century, and the current surge past $110 reminds us of the past volatility. In 2008, Brent hit a record $147 on July 11th, with WTI peaking at the same level, driven by strong Chinese demand and low U.S. stockpiles, before crashing to around $36 amid the global financial crisis. In 2011, the Arab Spring pushed Brent to $127 as uprisings toppled leaders in Tunisia, Egypt and Yemen. By 2012, Western sanctions on Iran's crude exports over nuclear concerns lifted prices above $100, sustained by Middle East tensions until a 2014 slide. The 2020 COVID pandemic saw history's first negative prices, WTI at minus $40 due to lockdowns and a Saudi-Russia price war. Then in 2022, Russia-Ukraine conflict sent crude above $100 again, with Brent at $139, nearing 2008 high as sanctions sparked supply fears. Asian stock markets plunged on Monday as oil prices soared more than 25% amid the near-complete shutdown of the Strait of Hormuz. South Korea's Kospi index plunged 6.7%. Japan's Nikkei fell around 5.8% after initially dropping over 6%, and Taiwan stocks declined more than 5% at the open. The sharp sell-off highlights Asia's heavy reliance on West Asian crude. Japan imports about 95% from the region, much via the disrupted Hormuz Strait, while South Korea ranks as the world's fourth largest crude importer. Hong Kong stocks also tumbled more than 3%, even as China reported February consumer prices rising 1.3%. You're watching DD India News. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, firefighters battle a large blaze near Glasgow Central train station in Union Street. Colombians vote in pivotal legislative elections. Thousands protest in Santiago, Chile, ahead of the inauguration of President-elect Jose Antonio Cast.
स्वागत आहे टू मैग्नेटिक महाराष्ट्र. Come share in the richness of Maharashtra as one family, united by the collective vision of building a better tomorrow.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News. Let's continue getting you more international updates. Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, received a message from King Charles III expressing UK solidarity with Qatar, highlighting support for its sovereignty, security and stability in light of tension between US and Iran. The message was delivered during a meeting between Qatar's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Sultan bin Saad Al Muraiki, and UK Ambassador Nirav Patel on Sunday. French President Emmanuel Macron spoke with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian on Sunday ahead of his trip to Cyprus amid the US-Israel-Iran war in West Asia. President Macron said that he urged Tehran to immediately halt strikes against the countries in the region during his phone call. He also called for guarantees of freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. Macron also spoke with US President Donald Trump. However, the details of the conversation have not been discussed. EU leaders Antonio Costa and Ursula von der Leyen will hold a video conference with West Asian leaders on Monday to discuss the situation in the region. A spokesperson for EU Council President Antonio Costa said on Friday that the exchange will provide an opportunity to hear leaders' assessment of the situation and to discuss further support from the EU and its member states to countries in the region, as well as ways to bring the current conflict to an end. Earlier, foreign ministers of all the 27 EU members discussed the situation in Iran and the broader West Asia with their counterparts from the Gulf Cooperation Council in a video call on Thursday. India's Ministry of Civil Aviation continues to closely monitor the evolving airspace situation in West Asia amid the ongoing regional conflict. Indian carriers including Air India Express, Indigo, SpiceJet and Akasa Air are planning approximately 50 inbound flights for March 9th, that is Monday, from key airports such as Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Ras Al Khaimah, Fujairah, Muscat and Jeddah, subject to operational feasibility and prevailing conditions. 49 such flights operated successfully on Sunday. Airlines are assessing additional airports to expanded operations. The ministry remains in constant coordination with stakeholders, closely tracking airfares to prevent undue surges. The government has urged the passengers to contact airlines for real-time updates on schedules and safety measures. Rising tensions between Iran, Israel and the United States have raised concerns over the vulnerability of desalination plants that supply drinking water across the Gulf. Take a look.
Destroying water infrastructure would be inconvenient in most countries. In the Gulf, it would be existential. As tensions rise between Iran, Israel and the United States, one critical vulnerability stands out: desalination plants. Gulf Cooperation Council countries operate more than 400 plants, producing about 40% of the world's desalinated water. Kuwait gets around 90% of its drinking water from desalination, with Saudi Arabia, Oman and the UAE not far behind. Saudi Arabia alone has invested nearly $80 billion in this infrastructure. If an Iran-Israel-US conflict spills into the Gulf, these plants would not just be targets, they are lifelines. And lifelines, once severed, cannot be restored overnight.
Nepal's political landscape is undergoing a dramatic shift as the newly formed Rashtriya Swatantrata Party, led by Balendra Shah, marks significant strides in the country's parliamentary elections. Shah's party is on the verge of securing a historic victory, sparking hope of a new era of leadership. DD India's Rahul Upadhyay gets us more.
Partial results from Nepal's parliamentary elections released on Sunday show Balendra Shah's newly formed Rashtriya Swatantrata Party making remarkable gains. With the majority already secured in the direct contests, the party appears headed for a sweeping victory, signaling a dramatic transformation in the nation's political landscape.
I
am very happy I voted for him. I spoke to my friend in Damak and they said we had to vote for him once and make him win. We had to bring a change in the country.
We are very happy that Balen won here, Balendra Shah. We were fed up of our old government, old people running our government. Now the youth has come and we are very hopeful they will do good for us.
Counting is still underway in 14 constituencies, while final results have been declared in 151. The Rashtriya Swatantrata Party has already secured 119 seats and is leading in 6 more under the first past-the-post system. In contrast, the Nepali Congress has managed to win only 17 seats, UML has 7 seats with leads in 2 constituencies, and NCP has won 6 seats while also leading in 2. Meanwhile, more than 80% of candidates are set to lose their security deposits after failing to secure at least 10% of valid votes in their constituencies. According to the election law, candidates must cross this threshold to retain their deposits submitted during the nomination. The Election Commission will release the final nationwide figure of forfeited deposits once counting concludes across all constituencies. In a notable gesture, former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli extended his congratulations to Balendra Shah following his victory in the latest parliamentary elections. On Saturday, Balendra Shah, former mayor of Kathmandu, delivered a stunning political upset by defeating former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli by more than 60,000 votes in Nepal's high-profile Jhapa 5 constituency. As Nepal awaits the final tally from the remaining constituencies, the surge of the Rashtriya Swatantra Party stands out as a defining moment in the nation's politics. Balendra Shah's journey from a reform-focused mayor to a national force reflects generational call for change. The days ahead will reveal whether this momentum can propel him toward leadership at the highest level, reshaping Nepal's political future. Rahul Upadhyay's report for DD India.
Firefighters battle a large blaze near Glasgow Central train station in Union Street, affecting rail travel at Scotland's busiest terminal. The National Rail said that dozens of train services were cancelled and the station would remain closed until further notice, warning that disruptions could last through Monday. Scotland's First Minister John Sweeney said that he is deeply concerned about the fire near Glasgow Central Station. He also urged people to follow travel guidance. Also, the blaze reportedly began at a shop near the station and led to a partial collapse of the building. According to projections, Germany's Green Party is appearing set to narrowly defeat Chancellor Friedrich Merz's Conservatives in a regional election in Baden-Württemberg. The Greens, led by Cem Özdemir, were projected to win about 30.3% of the vote, just ahead of the Christian Democratic Union Party. If confirmed, he could become Germany's first state premier of Turkish heritage following coalition talks. The result has been seen as a setback for Merz ahead of a series of regional votes later this year. Meanwhile, the far-right Alternative for Germany party seemed on track for a record result in a western German state with roughly 18.7%. Polls have been closed in Colombia after Colombians cast their votes on Sunday in a pivotal election, choosing 3 of the presidential candidates who will compete in the upcoming May elections. With over 3,000 candidates vying for 102 Senate and 182 House seats, analysts are forecasting a divided Congress. Now, this could pose significant challenges for the next president in pushing their agenda forward. To ensure security, 246,000 military and police personnel were placed on high alert to prevent disruptions from illegal armed groups. Thousands of women marched through central Santiago, filing the capital's main avenue, calling for the defense of women's rights. Demonstrators called for protections for women's rights, housing, healthcare, decent work, and an end to gender-based violence. Fernanda Cavada, spokesperson for the Feminist Coordination, ATEM, said that the march aimed to defend hard-won rights and warned of what she described as the rise of fascism and the global far right following the election victory of conservative politician Jose Antonio Cast. Some participants also voiced concern that incoming government, due to take office on March 11th, could threaten rights gained through years of mobilization. Istanbul's jailed mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu is set to appear in court as his trial begins in a major corruption case. Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu, arrested last year on 19th of March, faces a sweeping graft case with prosecutors charging him with 142 offences. The hearing is taking place at the Silivri courthouse attached to the prison where Mayor Imamoglu has been held since his arrest. India has strengthened its energy security despite global volatility in oil markets. With strong reserves, diversified imports and expanding domestic initiatives, the country has built a resilient energy framework over the past decade. Take a look.
India today holds over 250 million barrels of crude oil and refined petroleum products, equivalent to nearly 4,000 crore litres, providing 7 to 8 week buffer across the energy supply chain. These reserves are strategically stored across underground caverns, terminals, and offshore storage, including key strategic petroleum reserve facilities at Mangalore, Padur, and Vishakhapatnam. Officials say these reserves act as a buffer during disruptions while regular imports continue. India has significantly expanded its energy partnerships, increasing crude sourcing from 27 to 40 countries across 6 continents. Only about 40% of India's crude imports pass through the Strait of Hormuz, while the remaining supply comes through alternative global routes. India also maintains energy partnerships with countries such as United States, United Arab Emirates, and Russia, ensuring a steady supply of crude oil.
India's energy security is robust today. India maintains sufficient strategic fuel stock amid this global tension. As far as the runway is concerned, I personally feel that we have almost 2 months of runway. Half of this is coming from the crude oil stock, and half of this is coming from the refined oil like petrol, diesel stock. Apart from this, if you talk about LPG or you talk about LNG, I think we have almost 2 to 3 weeks minimum of that stock in India.
India's refining capacity stands at 258 million metric tons per annum, the fourth largest globally, which exceeds domestic demand of around 210 to 230 million tons. This capacity allows Indian refiners to process crude from multiple regions and also export refined fuels worldwide. India is now the fifth largest exporter of refined petroleum products globally. India's 20% ethanol blending initiative is reducing dependence on imported crude. The program replaces nearly 6 million tons of crude oil annually, saving billions in foreign exchange while also supporting farmers. Domestic energy production currently meets around 15 to 16% of India's total energy requirements. Not one petrol pump has run dry in 12 years. Retail fuel prices have remained stable for 4 consecutive years, despite extraordinary global volatility, a claim few of India's peer economies can make. Between February 2022 and February 2026, petrol prices in Delhi declined slightly by 0.6%, while diesel rose by just 1.15%. On LPG, even as Saudi CP benchmark prices rose 16% between November 2025 and February 2026, domestic LPG prices remain unchanged. Public sector companies such as Indian Oil Corporation, Bharat Petroleum, and Hindustan Petroleum absorbed significant losses to protect consumers from global price shocks. From strategic reserves and diversified imports to domestic energy initiatives and stable fuel prices, India's energy strategy reflects long term planning and resilience. Experts say these measures ensure that the country remains prepared and confident even amid global energy uncertainty. Bureau Report, DD India.
You're watching DD India News. We're waiting for a short break, but after the break, phase 2 of budget session commences today. Stay with us for a quick roundup on Women's Day celebrations across the nation.
गर फिरदौस बर रुए ज़मी است हमी अस्तो हमी अस्तो हमी است Jammu and Kashmir, nature's finest works. A land of verdant valleys, pristine lakes, striking autumns, unforgettable majestic beauty. A place of unwavering devotion. Wholehearted smiles. And warm hospitality. World famous for its exquisite artistry. Leader in diverse agricultural products. Heartland of winter sports. Jammu and Kashmir is vibrant, diverse, ambitious, future-focused, full of life. Welcome to heaven on earth.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. A quick relook at the top stories now. Iran picks Khamenei's son Mojtaba to succeed as supreme leader. Leadership of Iranian armed forces pledge allegiance. Oil prices surge over 25% on supply fears as US-Israeli war with Iran enters 10th day. Trump says small price to pay for defeating Iran. Asian markets fall sharply in early trade. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address post-budget webinar 2026-27 on Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, fulfilling aspirations of people. Second phase of budget session begins with External Affairs Minister expected to make a statement on West Asia. India script history at the T20 World Cup final, defeat New Zealand by 96 runs for the third title. Prime Minister says their remarkable triumph reflects exceptional skills, determination and teamwork. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the post-budget webinar 2026-27 on Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, fulfilling aspirations of people today. The discussions will focus on translating the union budget's strategic reforms into actionable and outcome-oriented framework through consultations with stakeholders. The discussions will emphasize on future-ready curricula, skilling pathways and innovations ecosystems while strengthening education to employment linkages and expanding workforce capabilities aligned with the vision of Viksit Bharat or Developed India by 2047. Meanwhile, the second phase of India's budget session 2026-27 will begin today and will continue till 2nd of April. The lower house of the parliament, that is Lok Sabha, is expected to take up a resolution seeking removal of Speaker Om Birla. The BJP and the Congress have issued a 3-line whip to their Lok Sabha MPs directing them to be present in the House till Tuesday. Also expected in the lower house is External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar making a statement regarding the situation in West Asia in Lok Sabha. While upper house or Rajya Sabha is likely to hold a discussion on the working of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The first part of the budget session began on 28th of January and continued till 13th of February. During the first phase, the discussion took place on motion of thanks to the President's address and the Union budget for 2026-27. DD India's correspondent Vishal Baristo joins us on Parliament Updates. Vishal, good morning. We tell our viewers that the second phase of the budget session will begin today and the External Affairs Minister is expected to make a statement. What else is lined up for the legislative agenda that has to be taken up during the day today?
Very good morning to you, Preeti. Yes, today is going to be the second phase. It starts today on a very stormy note. It's going to be a very significant day because resolution has been moved against the Speaker of the House, especially in the lower house, and Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla would not be presiding over the House, as the resolution has been moved by 118 MPs, spearheaded by the Congress party, for his allegedly partisan role in the lower house, not allowing the opposition leader to speak. And this resolution has been moved under Article 94C. So though the scales are tilted heavily in favor of the Treasury benches, because they are seated pretty at 335, and the opposition does not have the number to achieve the mark of 272. But the 3-hour discussion would be very stormy, because the opposition's idea is not to win the motion, but to make their viewpoint very clear in the House and attack the Treasury benches. Apart from that, the External Affairs Minister would be making a formal statement on the West Asia and what's happening there amidst Israel-America attack on Iran, and how it is affecting our diplomatic ties and also affecting the geopolitical situation here in India. Also, another important issue that 60 rupees raise in the LPG cylinders, on the 7th of March would also be raised. This, we all know, is the effect of the West Asia crisis. And as you informed our viewers, that in the upper house of the Parliament, the working of the Environment Ministry and climate change would be discussed. But the 3 hours would be very, very interesting and crucial as far as opposition is concerned, though both the opposition and the Treasury have issued a 3-layer whip and asked their members to be present in full attendance. But it would be very interesting to see how things proceed, because Om Birla would not be presiding the House. He would be sitting amongst the members, and it would be a very crucial and significant day, because it has happened in almost 4 decades of the Indian parliamentary history.
All right, Vishal, in that case, explain to our viewers who will be presiding over the proceedings, and how is that to be executed?
Well, since there is no designated deputy leader in the lower house, so one of the senior members, who is also part of the chairman panel, like Jagdambika Pal, is expected to chair the House proceedings, and the 3 hours would be having a very heated debate with the opposition going all out, knowing very well that they would not be able to win the motion, but certainly they would like to draw the attention of the House. And their accusation has been that the leader of the opposition has not been allowed to speak out his viewpoint, and it is all because of the allegedly partisan role of Om Birla, who is the Speaker of the House.
All right, Vishal, also I would want you to tell our viewers about what else is to be taken up during this second phase of budget session that begins today. What important legislative agenda that is to be taken up during this session?
Well, Preeti, as far as the lower house is concerned, the whole day is dedicated to the motion that is moved against Om Birla, though 3 hours of discussions have been dedicated, but the vote count would be there by the end of the day. So we are expecting a lot of hectic discussions, heated debates in the lower house, and after this is settled, then they would again come back to the grants and passage of the grants and demands of the finance bill, which is very crucial for the passing of the budget. So this is slated for the day, but as far as this motion is concerned, it is going to be very, very interesting. And let's see how the opposition also lines up, because the 118 MPs have signed this motion, which includes the Congress, Samajwadi Party, and also supported by the DMK and the TMC. But it would be very interesting to see how things proceed, because after all, opposition would get a chance finally to attack the Speaker, Om Birla. They have been accusing him for a very long time.
All right, that was about the agenda for the day. But Vishal, give us a quick roundup on the first phase of the budget session, and also how that is to be carried forward in the second phase. And through this second phase of the budget session, what important legislative agenda has to be taken up?
Well, Preeti, we all know that the budget session was divided into 2 phases, and today is going to be the beginning of the second phase. As I told you that the demands and grants of the finance bill would be discussed, because that would decide the final outcome of the budget discussion. So that is going to be very, very crucial. But because today is an important day, the first would be the motion on the speaker, and then the statement of the External Affairs Minister on the West Asia, because opposition has been demanding his statement, and what is the view of the government over this whole issue is going to be very, very crucial. We know that today is the 10th day of the West Asia crisis, and the statement of the External Affairs Minister, which is going to be formal in the lower house of the Parliament, would also decide the future course of action and what India has to say as far as this whole crisis is concerned. We all know that Prime Minister has been speaking to the leaders in West Asia, and also has been asking for a diplomatic solution to this whole problem. But definitely the whole world is affected by this crisis, and we all know that the Gulf of Hormuz is affecting the economies of the different countries across the globe. The energy crisis is there, and then it is also affecting the supply chain. So definitely the economies of the world is affected. So it is going to be a very important statement of the External Affairs Minister in the lower house of the Parliament.
All right, Vishal, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with those updates and those insights. And on International Women's Day, sanitary napkin vending machines were installed at key railway stations in Assam to promote women's health and hygiene. Take a look.
On the occasion of International Women's Day on Sunday, a new initiative to promote women's health and hygiene was launched at key railway stations in Assam. The Northeast Frontier Railway Women's Welfare Organization has installed sanitary napkin vending machines to make menstrual hygiene products easily accessible for women passengers during travel. A total of 6 machines have been installed, 4 at Guwahati Railway Station and 2 at Kamakhya Railway Station, providing women with quick and convenient access to sanitary napkins, especially during emergencies.
This initiative has been started with a focus on women's health and hygiene. It is meant to help in emergency situations as well. If any woman passenger faces a problem while traveling, this facility has been provided, keeping their health and hygiene in mind. The vending machine has been installed for the convenience of women passengers. It also supports Paytm payments, so even if you do not have cash, you can pay digitally and easily access sanitary napkins when needed.
The vending machines provide sanitary napkins at subsidized prices, ensuring women travelers have affordable and easy access to essential hygiene products while on the move. Plans are also underway to expand these facilities to several other stations across the Northeast in the coming days.
The International Women's Day was celebrated on March 8th of March to honor the achievements of rights of women. On Sunday, President Draupadi Murmu highlighted the government's efforts to boost female education, while Prime Minister Narendra Modi underlined that women are shaping India's progress with determination, creativity and unmatched zeal. This report has the details.
Events marking the International Women's Day were held across India. President Draupadi Murmu praised the national-level celebrations organized by the Ministry of Women and Child Development at the Manekshaw Center in New Delhi on Sunday. She highlighted the government's initiatives to boost female education.
पिछले एक दशक में महिलाओं के सामने आने वाली रुकावटों को दूर करने के लिए मजबूत नींव रखी गई है। भारत ने स्कूल एजुकेशन में जेंडर पैरिटी प्राप्त कर रही है। हायर एजुकेशन में भी ग्रॉस एनरोलमेंट रेशियो की दृष्टि से बेटियों की संख्या अधिक है। साइंस, टेक्नोलॉजी, इंजीनियरिंग एंड मैथमेटिक्स एकजुट है। एजुकेशन में महिलाओं की भागीदारी तेजी से बढ़ रही है। केंद्रीय बजट 2026-27 में प्रत्येक जिले में एक महिला छात्रावास की स्थापना का प्रावधान किया गया है, जिसमें स्टेम की छात्राओं को अपने अध्ययन को जारी रखने में सहायता मिलेगी।
President Murmu also addressed an event called Bharat Nari to Narayani, the first national convention of women thought leaders at the Vigyan Bhavan in the national capital. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also conveyed his warm wishes on the occasion. Taking to social media site X, he posted, and I quote, "On International Women's Day, I extend my greetings to all our Nari Shakti. Across every field, women are shaping India's progress with determination, creativity, and unmatched zeal. Their achievements inspire our nation and strengthen our collective resolve to build a Viksit Bharat. Empowerment of women is at the core of our various schemes and initiatives. We remain committed to creating opportunities that enable every woman to realize her full potential and contribute to India's journey of development." The Ministry of Women and Child Development also organized the women-led Shakti Walk titled as "She Leads Bharat" along the Kartavya Path in New Delhi. Bureau Report, DD India.
Up next, waiting for a short break. You're watching DD India News Hour, but after the break, thousands defy ban to march for Women's International Day in Istanbul. Odessa's Sunrise Piano Concert by Black Sea returns after harsh winter. And we show you the pictures of the world champions, Team India lifting the trophy for the record third time, and the celebrations that followed.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's get you more updates. Thousands of women marched in Istanbul to mark the International Women's Day, defying a ban on demonstrations amid heavy police presence. Despite authorities shutting nearby metro stations and issuing a ban on protesters, the feminist night march was allowed to proceed in the city. Large crowd of women, mainly dressed in purple, marched through the streets, chanting slogans and blowing whistles during the rally. In Ukraine's Odessa, residents gathered by the Black Sea as the Sunrise Piano Concert season reopened with a dawn performance. Ukrainian pianist and composer Igor Yanchuk resumed his weekly Sunrise concerts after a 4-month winter break. The soft piano notes echoed across the waterfront just before the sun rose over the sea.
It is very important to devote time in your life to find an opportunity for moments like these. It heals, it calms. Actually, despite all the alarms of the previous night, or rather, the night before last, this is truly like a panacea for the soul.
And now it's time to turn to sports. India scripted history by defeating New Zealand by 96 runs in the 2026 ICC Men's T20 World Cup final at Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad on Sunday. With this win, India became the first team ever to successfully defend the title and also lifted their third T20 World Cup trophy, making them the most successful team in the tournament's history. Also, India became the first side in the history of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup to win the tournament while hosting it or playing on home soil.
India produced a batting spectacle of rare ferocity to overwhelm New Zealand by 96 runs in the summit clash and defend the T20 World Cup title after posting a record total in Ahmedabad on Sunday. Powered by a blazing 89 from Sanju Samson and explosive half-centuries from Abhishek Sharma and Ishan Kishan, India's top order went on a 6-hitting spree to leave the New Zealand bowlers shell-shocked in the title clash, posting a massive 255 for 5. The total was the highest ever posted in a T20 World Cup final, capping a dominant display by the defending champions on the biggest stage of the tournament. India also became the first team to win the tournament thrice. Leading the bowling charge was Jasprit Bumrah, who delivered a match-winning spell, dismantling the New Zealand batting lineup with remarkable control and precision. The victory marks a historic moment for Indian cricket as the men in blue secured their third T20 World Cup crown, sparking celebrations among fans across the country after a dominant campaign throughout the tournament.
And Indian leaders congratulated the men in blue on this historic victory. President Draupadi Murmu on social media platform X congratulated Team India, saying, and I quote her, "Heartiest congratulations to Team India, which scaled several peaks of history by winning the ICC Men's T20 World Cup emphatically. India has the proud distinction of being the only country to win the Cup 3 times. It is also the only team to win the Cup twice in a row. This brings immense joy and pride to our cricket-loving people. It is also a matter of the rich talent pool we have among our youth in diverse fields. Every single player, entire management and the support staff deserve the highest praise for this collective triumph." The Vice President also congratulated Team India on social media platform X. He said, and I quote him, "Heartiest congratulations to Team India on winning the ICC Men's T20 World Cup once again and retaining the title. With a historic, in fact, history-making and commanding performance in the final, India has become the first team to win 3 ICC Men's T20 World Cup titles, marking a proud moment for the nation. Best wishes to the entire team, support staff and the millions of fans whose unwavering support powered this remarkable achievement. The nation celebrates this glorious victory with immense pride." Prime Minister Modi also congratulated the men in blue on this historic victory. On platform X, he said, and I quote him, "Champions, congratulations to the Indian team on winning the ICC Men's T20 World Cup. This remarkable triumph reflects exceptional skills, determination and teamwork. They have shown outstanding grit through the tournament. This victory has filled every Indian heart with pride, joy. Well done, Team India." All right, Suchitra Bhardwaj joins us from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Suchitra, good morning. The stupendous victory which we witnessed yesterday, it could not have been a better Sunday for not only Team India, but the entire nation, isn't it?
Yes, definitely, Preeti. It was a super Sunday. So many records were at stake. You know, so many jinx were related to yesterday's match. No team had ever won the T20 World Cup twice consecutively. No team had won the T20 World Cup on home soil. And India had never won an ICC event final on a Sunday. India had never defeated New Zealand in the T20 World Cup. But all those records were broken yesterday. And India is the #1 T20 team in the world, and they played like the #1 T20 team in the world. Everything went well for Team India. Their top order played really well, you know, top 3 scoring half century in a T20 World Cup final, and then Jasprit Bumrah taking those 4 wickets. The fielding was brilliant. Cricket is a team game, and Team India played like a well-gelled unit, and that's why they are the champions. Preeti.
Yes, cricket is a teamwork, but then what were the changing points in the match that made the team New Zealand see the match slipping away from their hands? What went wrong with New Zealand?
Well, Preeti, after the match was over, even in the post-match press conference, the New Zealand captain said that when he won the toss and elected to field first, he wanted some quick wickets, you know, and that power play, the way Sanju Samson and Abhishek Sharma scored with quick speed in that power play. India's score in the power play, 92 for no loss, is the joint highest in this edition of World Cup, and that was sort of the turning point of the match, because India were already 92 in 7 overs, so it was very difficult for New Zealand to make a comeback from there, because Indian batsmen, they scored runs, and they scored runs with a very high run rate, so there was no looking back from there. And even after Abhishek Sharma's departure, Ishan Kishan took over, and the run rate never slowed down. You know, at one point of time, India was looking at 300. 300 was not looking impossible yesterday. New Zealand made a sort of comeback from 15 to 18 overs, but it was very late till then. A total of 250 plus. You know, this was the highest ever total in a T20 World Cup final. So the chasing team definitely had some pressure. So I think New Zealand lost that match in that power play when they allowed Indian batsmen to score at free will, and India won that match in that power play with the kind of run rate that they scored with. Preeti.
Yes, indeed. That was a well-deserved victory and the well-deserved champions. India emerged. But then you extensively covered this World Cup. Suchitra, let us know, how would you evaluate this World Cup when we talk of the remarkable hits and misses, when we talk of the noteworthy performance from the minnows? What were the highlights of T20 World Cup edition 2026 that will remain in memories?
Preeti, India won the T20 World Cup in 2024, and Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, the two greats of Indian cricket, they retired from T20 cricket after that famous victory. And a new era began for Indian cricket, fans, and it was a different team. Coach Gautam Gambhir and Captain Suryakumar Yadav, they are playing a different brand of cricket. They are playing a high-risk cricket. Yesterday in the post-match press conference, Gautam Gambhir also acknowledged that he is not targeting a mediocre score of 160, 170. He wants his players to play risky shots, a risky game, and it doesn't matter if they are bowled out around 100. He wants them to, play risky shot, and that's kind of cricket this Indian team is playing. And we know Abhishek Sharma is the #1 T20 batter in the world. He sets the template for this team. He plays high risky shots. Most of the times he's successful, but we have seen him scoring 3 ducks in this tournament. But yesterday again, the way Abhishek Sharma batted, that is where India won that match. So this is new India, we can say. They play aggressively, and finally their brand of cricket, their way of playing cricket has been proved.
All right, so this brand new cricket,
they are playing fearless cricket. So I think
this brand new fearless way of cricket has broken many jinxes. Thank you so much, Suchitra, for joining us from Ahmedabad. And with that, we come to the end of this edition of DD India News Hour. Before we end, we leave you with some of the pictures of the world champions lifting trophy for the record 3rd time and the celebrations that followed. Take a look. Namaskar.